Welcome. So I am joined again by Dr. Veronica Couture. She's an integrative psychiatrist here at Pacific Integrative Psychiatry. And today we are talking all about gratitude practices to improve mental health and wellness. If you are interested in learning more about reducing anxiety and improving sleep through an integrative holistic lens, then go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I'm Dr. Nishi Bhopal. I'm an integrative psychiatrist and sleep physician and the founder of Pacific Integrative Psychiatry. We see patients all across California via telemedicine, and we help people with anxiety, depression, and sleep issues through an integrative evidence-based lens. So today we've got Dr. Veronica Couture with us. Last week, we talked about 4-7-8 breathing practices to reduce anxiety. So after this video, go ahead and check out that one because you'll definitely want to start practicing that technique that Dr. Couture taught us. Today, she's going to teach us about gratitude. So Dr. Couture, I'll turn it over to you. What is gratitude and what are some of the benefits?
Thank you. Yes. So gratitude is it's basically an appreciation for what is valuable and meaningful to you. It's a two-step process that starts with recognizing that something good has happened. And secondly, to recognize that there's an external source for this good thing that has just happened.
Yes. And I think, oftentimes with gratitude, we might get caught up in having to think about, or like we feel like we have to think about like big monumental things that have happened. So could you explain more about, recognizing maybe some of the small things or the everyday things that we might take for granted?
Mhm. What I do is I might be wherever I am. I'll look around and I'll think about what are the things that are going on around me that otherwise, if it wasn't there, that I would really miss. So, for example, my computer's working. For me, that's a great thing when technology is working as it should be. Sometimes it's just noticing a little drop of dew on a flower or a plant you see the bees and just the gratitude for, wow, we've got bees. We need bees to live, to pollinate our food. I need them to pollinate my garden. So it's really just being aware of what is going on around you.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it really is about just noticing what's happening. And
Yes.
yeah, like you said, having that awareness. What are some of the benefits? Like, why should we even be talking about this, thinking about this? What are the benefits for mental health and wellness?
Yes, well, it can foster a sense of well-being, of optimism and satisfaction. And some studies have suggested it can help improve relationships, can help reduce burnout, increase self-esteem. It can promote better mood and more resiliency in the face of stress and trauma, which, we all face stress. We can all use this. And people who engage in a gratitude practice are also more likely to engage in other healthful practices like exercise. It just makes you more mindful of things. And people might have better physical health, possibly could even reduce inflammation. But more research is needed, but it's free. It's low risk, and almost anyone can do it.
And I love that. I love that you emphasize that it's free. Anyone can do it. It's accessible at any time. Just like last week when we discussed the breathing practices, gratitude is something that everyone can do. But how do you actually do it? What are some examples of gratitude practices? Like what could that actually look like in a practical way?
Right, very good question. So, one form is thanking someone. So you could do this in different ways. One way is you could write a thank you letter expressing your enjoyment and your appreciation of that person's impact on your life. Even if you mentally thank someone, take the time to feel the gift that they give you and the appreciation for that. Another way to do this is writing a list of what you're grateful for. So, for example, three things that went right today. Three things went right today. We can do that, or three things that went right this week. You can write your thoughts down about the gifts that you've received. You can reflect on the sensations of how it feels when something good happens, and um, important also to identify what caused those good things to happen. That's part of the gratitude practice. But even meditation, prayer, focusing on what you're grateful for, that's another way to do this. One way that I really enjoy is volunteering, is giving back what we've received. If we've received mentoring or guidance, to give that back. Um, Another interesting way is spending money on experiences rather than things. And you can, this is another idea, you can create a gratitude jar filled with things that you're grateful for. And at the end of the year, you can read through them and reflect on these blessings. So it's also remembering the harder times and thinking about how far you've come and contrasting the struggle with the rewards that you've reaped and the things that you're grateful for now. I recently had some dental work going on, and yeah, I was really uncomfortable, and I was just so grateful that I was able to get that taken care of. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways to express gratitude.
Yeah, and it's so interesting, just how you described all these different types of practices, which can be anywhere from simply just taking a moment to reflect and notice, being grateful for, having clean water, things like this. Um, or, you can write it down, which I think is really powerful. As you said, writing a gratitude journal, writing down three things you're grateful for every day, or doing a jar, which I think is fun with a partner, or if you have
Yes.
kids or family, everyone can contribute to that, and then you can pull it out and look at what's in the jar. And like you said, kind of doing more active gratitude behaviors like volunteer work or using your resources and your means to give back to the community. So thank you for sharing all of those. What are some of the barriers to practicing gratitude that you might see with, patients that you work with in your practice?
Mhm. Well, I often try to gather from my own experience of people that I've, worked with, people that are just family and friends, and this whole range of human interactions that we have. And one thing that comes to mind is the feeling of, I'm going to say, envy, dwelling on what other people, as opposed to focusing on what we do have, what blessings we have received. Another one is cynicism. That feeling of, well, good things don't happen to me, and we all fall into these traps. Good things don't happen to me. It is a barrier to gratitude. Materialism, valuing possessions and the social image they project. A lot of us get pulled into that. And really, our own nervous system. Our nervous system is designed to be more aware of and remember bad outcomes than good ones. It helps us survive. And that's why we have to actively engage in gratitude.
Yeah, I think that's those are great points that you just brought up, because I think those are really relatable, where people might fall into that comparison trap, or it just feels like nothing's ever good enough. And sometimes those could be symptoms of depression or anxiety. So if it's hard to get out of those thought patterns, then, talking to a mental health professional can help as well. And that's something Dr. Couture
Absolutely.
specializes in. Um,
Yes.
so how do you know? So just along these lines, how do you differentiate between toxic positivity
Mm.
and authentic gratitude? What's the difference? Like, what if like things are just not going great and now I have to be grateful?
Yes.
Like that just doesn't feel right. So how do you reconcile that?
Oh, it's such a wonderful question. So, let's think about what is toxic positivity? It is dismissing your genuine negative feelings. So you're denying that you're hurting, for example. Um, and you're putting on this cheerful facade when you're really not. So what this does is it sets an expectation that is unrealistic and unhelpful. So with gratitude, the goal isn't to only have positive emotions. I'm really glad we're talking this because this is very important. In contrast, it's really feeling the entire range of emotions in a healthy way and finding the silver lining without denying the challenges that we face. So it's just having the full range of human emotions, accepting them and embracing them, actually.
Yeah, and I think that I like how you put that because it is about the whole range of emotions and it's more realistic that we have a full range of emotions, that it's not always just positive or always just negative, right? Life is about that whole spectrum of emotions. And so it's really intentionally embracing all of it.
Yes, yes. And one could even be grateful for having that full spectrum of emotions. That's what makes us humans. And being a human being can be difficult. But it's if you've been in a situation, I've had patients who felt like, you know, I feel like I don't have a range of emotions where not only am I not feeling um, particularly low, but I'm not feeling the highs either, and that can be very distressing to people as well.
So how might you support someone with that if they're feeling like they're sort of like limited in their range of emotions? What might you recommend?
Hmm. Well, I'd be very curious about why. What is the source of that? Some people are very sensitive, for example, to the effects of some medications for say, depression that can have, in some people, not most, but in some people, can sort of narrow the range of emotions. And for some folks, that can actually trigger some anxiety. So that's when I tend to see it, but also when people are mm, overwhelmed, especially folks who've had traumatic events where we kind of shut down, in a sense of self-protection, not really experiencing those negative emotions because we're so protective, but then it can also limit our ability to experience positive emotions as well.
That's really helpful. And I think so, for anyone who's listening, stay tuned because we're going to be doing more videos with Dr. Couture on those aspects of mental health. And we're going to be talking about trauma and meaning, purpose, spirituality, all of those things down the line. So stay tuned for those discussions. But with regard to gratitude, what I really like that you're sharing is that it's an intentional practice, it's a skill that can be cultivated. It's
Yes.
not an innate quality, like, oh, I'm just a grateful
Right.
person or I'm an ungrateful person. Like you can actually cultivate it. So how might you suggest someone practice it? Like should they practice gratitude? What's a good way to start?
Yeah. So, um, for example, you can, if you're writing a thank you letter, and you don't even have to send it to the person, it still works. You could do that monthly. You could do a weekly gratitude list. We talked about the annual gratitude jar, um, or just when something good happens to you, or something that you didn't want doesn't happen. So you become more aware, and you'll notice things. I like to express gratitude when I'm asking for something. I don't, it's not natural, but I do integrate that into, my prayer and meditation when I'm asking for something to express gratitude for the gifts that I've received. And volunteering, I mean, that doesn't have to be too often, twice a month, for example. Or you could choose specific projects and, maybe do a one time and, at a later date, do a totally different type of volunteer activity.
Excellent. Yeah. So there's so many different things that people can do. And yeah, so for anyone who's listening, if you want to start practicing gratitude, maybe just start simple, right? And you can just start by just noticing things that you're grateful for that day, or start writing it down and just tracking. And then there's all these other wonderful practices that Dr. Couture just shared. Um, is there anything else you'd like to share about gratitude, other tips or personal experiences or experiences that you've had in your clinical work?
Yeah, well, tips. I like to integrate it, incorporate it into maybe a daily wind down, meditation routine. You can schedule it. You can put alerts on your calendar. If you're like me, you need a lot of reminders. Here's another nice one is before meals. You know, people say grace or give a prayer, but acknowledging the source of the meal, and the people that helped that meal get to you. You know, the farmers, the ranchers, the truck drivers, the folks at the grocery store. And of course, if you eat meat, the animal or the plant that sacrificed, whose life was sacrificed so that we could live. And basically in the moment, if someone has done something for you, sometimes we instinctually say thank you. But you want to think of the gesture for a moment. Okay, what did this person do for me? And name what you're feeling grateful for, and then saying thank you. And that kind of closes it there.
Wonderful. And it's such a great tip to incorporate gratitude before eating, because that is something that we all need to do, right? We all need to eat. And so that's a great anchor to start practicing gratitude. So yeah, wonderful tips. I'm very grateful for you being here and
Wise.
sharing all of this. So thank you. If people are interested in learning more about you or working with you, where can they find you?
Well, you can visit us at our website, pacificintegrativepsych.com, and you can schedule a call with one of our team members to get the ball rolling if you want to set up a meeting with me.
Excellent. All right. Well, thanks, Dr. Couture. This was so helpful.
My pleasure. Thank you. And I'm grateful for this opportunity.